Right. So steering lock. If you're anything like me, you might have taken this Fairmont hairpin and then just not been able to make it. That's because of steering lock. I'm going to demonstrate here in the F2004. I think it's from the 70th anniversary edition. I'm going to take this ungodly slow. I mean, you'd be dead if you took this on a real GP online or in real life. But I was full steering lock all the way there, and I about bent it into the wall. So one more time, I'm going to back up a bit. Hopefully not hitting the wall. And I'm going to take it one more time with the bonnet cam just to show that I'm using pretty much the entire circuit with full steering lock, and I'm not even getting close to making this corner. Especially going damn near dead stopped. Could have used a little more circuit there, but I mean, I'm still a good ways away from making that corner. So what the hell's going on? Well, let's take a look. If we go back into the beginning here, you can actually check your steering angle, I believe it is. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's called, but let me get in the cockpit cam here. And you're going to need DevOps on, which I will show in a second, but you're going to scroll all the way down here to suspensions. It's just in the, so if you haven't done this before, move your mouse all the way up to the top right, click all apps, scroll all the way to the bottom, and 6 or 7 from the bottom, you'll hit suspensions. And what you can do is I'm on controller, so it's going to be a little different for those on wheel. But if you read this T right here, that is your toe angle. So if you watch the left, I'm going to turn to the left, full steering lock, so I can't turn my controller anymore. It goes to negative 12.4, and if I go all the way to the right, it should be the same at negative 12.4. And as you can see my wheels here, they're not really moving all that much. The Fairmont hairpin is taken by normal road cars every day, and for an F1 car not to be able to make it seems a little suspicious. So first and foremost, how in the hell do you get turn DevApps on? So how do we turn on DevApps? Well, it's actually pretty easy. All you want to do is you want to go into your settings tab in Content Manager, go to the Assetto Corsa tab, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down, you'll have System. And then you want to check this Developer Apps button. There are other DevApp options. I think there's one for Python and maybe one somewhere else in here. I'm not exactly sure where, but there's a few of them. But anyway, the right one is in System. You want to check DevApps. And actually, if I uncheck it and then come back into Monaco, pretty much all of the apps actually are going to be gone. And then I'll come back in here. I'll start back into DevApps, and I can't find the suspension. It's just not in here. And if it is, I can't see it. But either way, we come back out for a second. And then we go back into settings, into system, recheck DevApps. So make sure this one is checked in system, developer apps, back into drive, back into Monaco, and we should be able to see the toe in and toe out. Come back in here, scroll all the way to the bottom, 6 or 7 from the bottom, you have suspensions, and there we go. So this will be pretty much only using Content Manager. It's what I have. I have the paid version. I think it might work with the unpaid, but I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that one. But all you want to do to first start off changing your steering lock is you want to hit this version thing here. You just go to all the way to the About tab in the top right, and you'll just click this a few times. I've already done it, but what should happen is there should be a screen that pops up that says, do you want to enable developer mode? You'll just spam click the shit out of this one. I think it's just a version button here. Anyway, after that comes up, you want to come back to your main screen. So I'm using the Ferrari F2004. Come over to the Content tab, and then find it, which, here it is. And so on the content screen at the very bottom, you should see an Unpack Data button. And when you hit that, it should open a folder for you of your car INI. And you want to find the data folder of it, which usually is missing if you don't have the developer mode on and you don't unpack it. So then we come back into data, and then we open the car INI. Now, before I do anything, it's very important to, if you want to use these online or just have the original stock steering saved, you want to come to this data.acd folder or file, hit F2 to rename it, at least on Windows, and then just name it whatever you want. I usually go data v1 just to make sure that I know that's the original data and that's the original steering ratio and whatnot. Then we can close that. We come all the way down here to steer lock. I find that 360 is usually a good place to start. 900 degrees is not the same as your steer lock on a wheel, so don't put 900 because you'll end up glitching your car through the floor. So, and then we come back here, and then we'll hit pack data, and it's just a warning to say, hey, make sure you save this, otherwise you're going to be a little fucked for online. Come back in here, there's my data v1, there is my new data. We can go ahead and close that, and then come back to drive, and then we should be good to go. Now, just to show the steering angle has changed. I think it was 12.4 before. So if I go full all the way to the left, it's now 26.3 and then 26.3. The hands are a little glitchy. I'm not sure what that is. I think if you want to fix that, you'll have to change the steering ratio. But I'm going to head back to the Fairmont hairpin and see if that helped any. And sometimes you'll need to change it. I know on the SF15 I had to change it a few times. But let's see if I can actually make the hairpin now. So coming back into Fairmont here, let me get to the chase cams. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. Take this corner pretty freaking slow. Full steering lock. And even, I'm not even full steering lock here. There's full steering lock. And I can hammer that corner out. Pretty freaking easy. Now the key item on, you will notice I did turn off TC and ABS. I have those forced on usually because I race GT cars, but you don't need either of them for this corner, so I turned them off. And then coming in again, let's see if I can take this corner kind of normally. Again, full steering lock here, ripping through this corner, taking it way too tight even, which I couldn't even get that close at all if I tried before changing the steering angle. Try it one more time, and you can notice even the back up here is a lot smoother. So steering angle is pretty important. I find it was kind of a pain in the ass to find this information, so I figured I'd put a little video for everyone. So this is like 50% steering angle. Right there. I'll even come back into cockpit here. I think that's one. Yep. And then we can take it just right here. Using pretty much none of the circuit, I can come straight around this corner like no problem. And that's about it. That's how you change the steering angle in Assetto Corsa.